Hey YouTube, it's Do Yourself Mike, Martin Lawn and Workbench. This week, we're going to be doing something a little different. Sorry, I think it's been a week and a half, almost 2 weeks since I did a video last. I've had a lot of projects going on all at once, so it's been hard to narrow it down for a video. This week I'm going to be talking about accuracy and measurements. I make foldable laundry racks, like I've said in a couple other videos, and it's crucial to have the right measurements for it to work. I was making a laundry rack last night, and I found out that the dowels that I've been using are supposed to be 5/8, and that's 0.625 millimeters if anybody is really particular. So in order for that to work, it needs to be 0.625 for the diameter for your hole that you're drilling. The rack that I made last night, I put it together and there was a whole bunch of slop in the dowels, and I couldn't figure out for the life of me why that was the case. So if you don't have one already, I would strongly recommend it. Getting some sort of caliper, whether it's a digital one, regular standard with a ruler, something where you can measure to see if there is a discrepancy in what you're doing. Whether it goes to tape measure, whether it goes to a square with an adjustable handle, caliper, micrometer, whatever. Make sure that you're keeping your measurements consistent for what you need. I've already zeroed this in. So this is the dowel that I ordered. I get them bulk from Amazon. It should be 0.625. It's not. It's 0.614. That is just enough of a discrepancy to have an issue with the parts that I'm making. So for me, I'm going to have to figure out how to compensate for that. I'm probably going to be messaging the company and saying I need 0.625 dowels. When you're doing measurements, consistency, if you have to, for one of the projects I'm working on right now, I have a whole bunch of styles that I have to make. And so I'm spacing them the same distance on every single piece. Now you can cut a spacer block where you would line up the spacer block with whatever you're using and then set your piece on the back of that. I found this is very easy. This is a Home Depot special, and you can set it to whatever you want. I'm actually going to leave this where it is because it's set for a project I'm working on. But it's really easy to line it right up. You have your piece right up against it, and then you can attach it. If you're going to be working on just one or two projects, if you don't have to do it a lot, then don't worry about it. Just eyeball it with a tape measure and call it good. But where I'm looking for consistency every single time I do a project, this is going to come in really handy. A lot of times you'll see people just doing it with a tape measure, marking it up with a quick square. That works. I'm doing a little bit finer of a woodworking project, so I'm looking for that consistency where I know I'm going to have it every single time. If you're just throwing up a shelf, yeah, it might work, but where I'm doing some of the other stuff, it's kind of crucial to have it the same. One of the projects I'm working on right now, I'll be working on it a little more in another video. Like I said, I have a bunch of styles that I'm putting in this piece, and this piece is gonna need to survive long term. So I want it to look good and be the way it should be measurement wise. So anytime you're using, whether it's a regular tape measure, make sure that you know how to read the tape measure. That's always a big thing. There have been so many times where I've had students at the school that I work at, and I'm working in the woodworking shop, and they don't even know how to read a tape measure. So if you don't know how to read a tape measure, that's the first place to start, because if you can't read a tape measure, it's going to make it really hard to measure anything. The other thing too is making sure that you know how to do fractional math. So if you're doing your if you're doing decimals, fractions, you have to be able to think on your feet where you're saying, okay, half of half of an inch is a quarter of an inch, half of a quarter is an eighth of an inch. You need to be able to know that so that when you go to make your mark on a piece of wood, you know, oh, I have an 1.5 inch piece, the center of it's going to be 70.75 or 3/4 of an inch. So you have to have that information ready to go when you're doing your measurements. So like I said, I'm going to be getting a hold of Amazon to try and figure out what's going on with the dowels. That way I can finish doing my projects. Thankfully, I don't have a lot of them going out right now just because it's an off season. But when I start needing them, I'm going to need them. So thank you for watching. Thank you for the people that have been subscribing and watching my videos. Please leave a comment down below. I've had some people giving me comments in person, but write a comment on here because you might spark an idea that somebody else has or somebody else has thought of where they have a question, and ask those questions because it gives me some material to go off of. If I don't know where everybody is standing as far as what you see in my videos that I don't, it's really hard for me to make improvements on my videos. So please leave a comment, whether you message me privately on YouTube, and then do it that way. So thank you again, and happy building.